Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
The whole situation with our condo association is a complete nightmare. We've been trying to sell our condo for months, and it's been a struggle from the get-go. But the final straw was when we found out that the condo manager has been telling potential buyers about a possible special assessment of $20,000 to $40,000 that's supposedly coming soon. The thing is, there's no concrete evidence to back this up. No firm dates or numbers have been given to the owners, and it's not even mentioned in the meeting minutes. This ordeal began when we first decided to put our condo on the market. We knew it might take some time to find the right buyer, but we never anticipated the hurdles we'd face. The real estate market can be unpredictable, but our hopes were high. We invested in some minor renovations and staging to make our home more appealing, and soon enough we started getting some interest. Then, out of nowhere, the rumors of a substantial special assessment started circulating. Potential buyers who had initially shown enthusiasm became hesitant, their inquiries suddenly taking a nosedive. Our frustration reached its peak when we discovered the source of these rumors. The condo manager himself. He had been casually mentioning to prospective buyers that a massive special assessment was on the horizon, one that could range anywhere between $20,000 and $40,000. The problem, there was absolutely no concrete evidence to back this up. No firm dates, no solid figures, nothing in the meeting minutes, just vague, ominous warnings. This was the final straw. We were finally under contract with a buyer, but as soon as they caught wind of this potential financial burden, they got cold feet, and honestly, who could blame them? The thought of being hit with such a hefty assessment right after purchasing a property would make anyone think twice. Our realtor, determined to salvage the situation, began pressing the condo manager for more information. But all we received were vague promises and more uncertainty. It felt like they were intentionally keeping us in the dark. After weeks of relentless prodding, the condo manager finally provided some numbers to our realtor. The $10,000 deposit would be required when the assessment started in early June, followed by 84 months of payments at around $350 per month, or a lump sum payment of about $31,000. I was in shock, trying to wrap my head around these figures. What made my blood boil even more was the fact that none of the owners had been officially informed about any of this. The condo manager claimed that a letter had been sent out just the day before, so we would probably receive it by the end of the week. A lovely surprise, right? Just what we needed to make our lives even more complicated. I couldn't fathom why the board was being so secretive about the entire situation. Didn't they realize that this kind of uncertainty was jeopardizing our sale? Adding insult to injury, I recently found out that one of the board members has 2 units listed for sale, and he's also acting as the listing agent. Talk about a conflict of interest. It was like they were deliberately trying to sabotage our sale while lining their own pockets. My anger reached new heights. I felt like we were being played, taken advantage of, and pushed around with no regard for our well-being. I've been racking my brain, going over the condo documents, trying to recall anything about the board's responsibilities to the owners. I was certain there was something in there about transparency and keeping us informed about major decisions or financial burdens. But clearly, this seemed irrelevant to our condo association. It was as if the rules and responsibilities didn't apply when it came to us. I've been in contact with some of the other owners, and they're just as frustrated and confused as I am. We all feel like we're being kept in the dark, with the board making decisions without our input or consent. It's like they think they're above the law or something. The lack of transparency and accountability is utterly disheartening. What happens next is anyone's guess. I'm clinging to the hope that our buyer will still go through with the sale, but I'm not holding my breath. And even if they do, I'm not sure I want to remain in this condo complex anymore. The whole experience has left a bitter taste in my mouth. The lack of transparency and accountability is just too much to handle. In the meantime, I'm trying to gather my thoughts and calm down. But it's difficult when I feel like we're being taken advantage of. All we want is to sell our condo and move on with our lives, but it seems like the condo association is determined to make that as difficult as possible. A realtor has been incredibly supportive, doing everything in her power to get clear answers and keep the sale on track. She's been a beacon of hope in this otherwise dismal situation, yet despite her efforts, we remain ensnared in a web of uncertainty and frustration. Each day feels like we're being strung along, with no resolution in sight. One particularly infuriating aspect is the board's apparent disregard for the well-being of the owners. Instead of providing clear communication and involving us in significant decisions, they've chosen a path of secrecy and misinformation. It's not just about the potential financial burden of the special assessment. It's about the principle of how they're managing the community's affairs. It's hard not to feel a sense of betrayal when those who are supposed to represent our interests seem more focused on their own agendas. I've been reading up on condo association laws and owner rights, trying to arm myself with knowledge in case we need to take legal action. From what I understand, the board has a fiduciary duty to act in the best interests of the owners, which includes being transparent and honest about financial matters. The way they've handled this situation appears to be a clear violation of those duties. Other owners I've spoken to share my sentiments. We're considering forming a united front to demand more transparency and accountability from the board. Some are even suggesting we petition for a special meeting to address these concerns directly. It's heartening to know that we're not alone in this struggle, but it also underscores how widespread the dissatisfaction is. I think back to when we first bought this condo. It was supposed to be a place of stability and comfort, a home where we could build our future. Now it feels like a battleground, with the very people who should be protecting our interests acting as obstacles. The dream of a smooth, stress-free sale has turned into a protracted nightmare. The discovery of the board member's dual role as a listing agent is particularly galling. It's hard to shake the feeling that he's using his inside knowledge to his advantage, possibly at our expense. The conflict of interest is so blatant, yet it seems like no one in a position of authority is willing to address it. It's one more layer of frustration on an already overwhelming situation. As the days pass, the stress continues to mount. Each morning I check the mail, hoping for some definitive communication from the board, yet fearing what the letter might contain. The whole process feels like a cruel game, one where the rules are constantly changing, and we're always a step behind. Our condo, once a place of solace, now feels like a prison. The uncertainty about the special assessment hangs over us like a dark cloud, making it difficult to enjoy the space we once loved. The thought of packing up and moving should bring a sense of relief, but instead it feels like an insurmountable challenge. Despite everything, I'm trying to remain optimistic. I tell myself that there has to be a way through this, that eventually the truth will come to light and we'll be able to move forward. But as each day brings more questions than answers, it's hard to maintain that hope. In the quiet moments, when the anger subsides and the frustration gives way to exhaustion, I try to imagine a future where this ordeal is behind us. I envision the moment when we finally hand over the keys to our buyer and step into a new chapter of our lives. It's a vision that keeps me going, even as the current reality feels more like a waking nightmare. The condo association's actions have not only jeopardized our sale, but also eroded the sense of community that once existed here. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, and right now, it feels like the foundation of that trust has been shattered. As I continue to navigate this labyrinth of uncertainty, I hold on to the belief that there will be a resolution, however distant it may seem, whether it's through legal action, a collective effort from the owners, or some other means. I know we can't continue like this indefinitely. For now, I'll keep fighting, keep pushing for answers, and keep hoping that our buyer won't be scared off by the looming assessment. And if they do decide to walk away, we'll start over, because giving up isn't an option. We deserve better, and we won't stop until we get the transparency and accountability we're owed. The whole situation has been an eye-opener, a harsh lesson in the importance of vigilance and advocacy within a community. It's not enough to assume that those in positions of power will act in our best interests. We need to be proactive, informed, and ready to challenge decisions that don't align with our rights and expectations. The coming weeks will undoubtedly be challenging. There will be more meetings, more letters, more attempts to get straight answers from the board. But through it all, I'll hold on to the belief that this is temporary, that one day we'll look back on this ordeal from a place of peace and stability. Until then, I'll continue to write, to vent, to share my frustrations and seek solidarity with my fellow owners. We may be facing a daunting challenge, but we are not alone. Together, we can demand the transparency and accountability that should have been there from the start. In the end, this isn't just about selling a condo. It's about standing up for what's right, for fairness and honesty in the management of our community. It's about ensuring that future owners won't have to face the same struggles we're enduring now. If the assessment takes place before the sale, the entire assessment will come out of the proceeds of the sale. In other words, the seller will be paying for the entire assessment and the buyer will get the benefit. Ask me how I know, because this happened to me too. I'm surprised that the board or property manager can tell buyers about a special assessment before telling the owners or getting it approved. Can your board just create special assessments without going to the owners? I'm also curious about how this is allowed. It seems like this would be deliberately interfering with the sale of property. It sounds like they were actively providing false information to the buyers, at least until they actually announce the assessment to the current owners. They are telling the buyers it's coming because mortgage companies and smart buyers are asking. If they know it's coming and lie, they can get in trouble. It isn't the job of the condo to help the seller saddle the buyer with years of the seller's board not paying into reserves. If OP checks, they probably would have seen it coming, as I'm sure it's been discussing it in prior meetings.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.